another video. Well, I'm spitting them out today and yesterday or the day before. This one's going to have to be on ice for a little while or nobody's ever going to watch it. No, as if that really matters that much. MK Ultra, the aftermath. Well, there is no aftermath. It has become a concept, a zeitgeist. Something surrounding the zeitgeist. It created one. You can't stop that now. Is that a virus? No, it's an evolution. I'm sure the professor is familiar with Devo, the wonderful band. It was indeed a philosophy. It was a stern warning about Orwellian thought, which is also, well, Orwellian is misleading. Yeah, 1984. That book, it's heavily misinterpreted, and I can say that with some absolute clarity, being that I've read most of Orwell, Eric Blair, if you will. I even know his name. He wrote a lot of differing stuff. I would strongly advise the professor to either read or reread all of the essays. It's not the thickest volume on earth, but it is profoundly good reading, and you really have a warm sense from Orwell. I mean, if you have an ear for literature, an eye for it, you can't go wrong with Orwell anyway. He didn't write any bad stuff. He wrote wonderful stuff. It's kind of sad that Orwell is, 1984 is the one thing people have read. And frankly, I don't like Animal Farm. I understand why it's a masterpiece. However, it doesn't sing to me at all. And anything animated, please don't touch that. Watch Babe again. You want animals and stuff? Babe's a great movie. Charlotte's Web, well, I like that film only because of Paul Lynde. Love Paul Lynde. Big fan Paul Lynde. If you must be gay, be Paul Lynde, or be divine, or be an elegant, sophisticated human being. Don't be a gay parade woman in a man with a beard. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just gauche, vulgar, and aesthetically unpleasing. I'm sorry. It's just hard to watch. I've been to gay parades before, and I really enjoyed parts of it, absolutely. But I don't want to see a guy in a jockstrap. Again, that really defeats the purpose of pride. Your pride evaporates when you're walking around in a jockstrap. It should be desexualized and more of a statement of culture. That really signifies pride. I'm not gay, but I've been in the bars. I was semi-immersed in the culture back in the 80s, before all the really cool people died. Real big bummer. AIDS really destroyed the better part of gay culture. Yeah, it might seem hypocritical. Now, searching for a word. Counterintuitive that I would be, saddened by promiscuity, but now those people were doing it on their own dime, and profoundly wonderful people, very sad. The sadness was pervasive, but it was a kind of joyous sadness. They were going to do what they needed to do no matter what, and they were hell-bent on not hurting people. Though a lot of gay people did. They were the chicken hawks. A lot, just thousands of men going out and cruising for teenagers. I'm sorry, that did happen. That probably still does, but it's downplayed in gay culture because culture cultures should repair themselves, and most cultures don't. And Catholic Church is still trying to repair itself constantly. And, warts and all, it admits what it's wrong is wrong, and maybe it takes too much time, and it really did. But it's there. It's pervasive. If you don't study the church, shut up about it, please, because you don't know what you're talking about, and you probably won't want to read some of the monastic writings, the history of monasteries and nunneries, and this is and that's is the beauty, the academia, how much the Catholic Church had to do with the fine arts, science, mathematics. Yeah, the church kind of it preserved all nature of the ancient wisdom. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But what about the Turks? Well, the Turks got that essentially from the Byzantine monks. Bummer, but that was Greek, and it did progress for a while, and then it died into the current lunacy we have today. Islam, whatever. It's not my thing. Uh, but some of it is. Well, I understand that, but a lot of it isn't. And I really think, much like the Catholic Church, I think there's a obligation for Islam as a whole to mend itself. And I don't speak for the boring Christians. I don't care. Charismatics, I don't. It's not for me. I'm separate from it. Please don't try to conclude me and say in your little footnotes, but what about the fundamentalists? I'm not one. I don't agree with it. I dislike it. I think it's a poor introspective representation of Christ. The essence of Christ. That seems to get overlooked. You know, take a little time and get yourself a red letter Bible. Hopefully a Catholic Bible, but it doesn't have to be. And with a decent translation, I like the NIV. It's solid. It's more authentic than the King James. And don't give me, I love the language. Well, have a good time, but it's a slow plot, and you probably haven't really read it anyway. I don't say I used to read a lot, and mother, it's dubious. I'm just seeing people who just, trash the church. Well, you have a good time with that. I'm not interested in what you have to say anyway, because the spirituality, the fundamental, I'll discuss that with anybody, regardless of faith or lack thereof. But if you're going to go on with your anecdotal remembrances of any church and how bad it is, I've heard all that. It's a scratchy record. You're gonna tell me the same things I've heard 1,000 times, and you'll try to pretend it's sparkly insight, and it's actually you've lifted it from other sources every time. You're gonna come up with fake memories of the same stuff I've heard word for word. You hear stuff word for word. I'm not talking about the mass and stuff. Don't use that as example. It's not what I'm saying. It's just your series of cliches don't interest me. Yeah, here I'm going back to the church. But isn't that like brainwashing? And hopefully not. If you're using it for that, you're using it wrong. You're supposed to gain insight, understand why certain things are a certain way, and if you don't absorb that, you don't have to be a Catholic. You don't have to be a Christian. Nobody's making you. But back in the past, I don't want to hear about the past. Yeah, the past is the past. There's horrible things and great things. The church still needs work. Yes. Overall, wonderful, profoundly beautiful thing. It has done more good than harm. But what about all the wars? If you took the sum total of people killed in wars, and then went into World War One, World War Two, interwar wars. They were political. Politics has killed more people than religion or anything else. Cult politics, you know that stuff you talk about so much? It's evil. It's very bad. And then we go into, we're going back to get MK Ultra. You know, it picked up where Hitler left off. And the communists, and, well, Roosevelt, too. Roosevelt was a culprit. And I'm sorry. You're such a great president, and he ended the Depression. No, he didn't. He didn't, not for a second. The only thing that other countries were recovering a lot more quickly than, you know, Roosevelt's administration. He was heading for a really institutionalized form of socialism, which wasn't working. It didn't work. It was bad, very bad. What about Social Security? Well, I got that one right. You know, it's yeah. And would that have happened through other administrations, Republicans and whatnot? Don't know. I'd have to look more into it more quickly or more deeply. Frankly, I should have been studying failed and failed politicians. I really should have. I haven't. I admit my errors. Know a little bit about Hoover and a few of the others. Hoover was a well-intentioned bad president, but he wasn't as bad as Carter. Carter was an abysmal failure. All the respects. Yeah, he was a nice guy. He built some houses and shit. Yeah, whatever. He was not capable of being a president, and that's a crime. Don't take a job you can't do and try and do it again. And I've always had this feeling that Rosalind pushed him into running again because he liked the house. That's another thing. But MK Ultra, yeah, that's had more to do with brainwashing than anything the Catholic Church ever did. Because at least there was a method implicit for intelligent people to gain wisdom further. It was open-ended. It was designed to evolve, which it has. MK Ultra and that stuff is not. It's designed to devolve, to pasteurize, homogenize people, control them. Is it one? Yeah, MK Ultra was the masterpiece, and the internet is the accidental crowning glory. It's funny, the vehicle that could really make people stupider, giving people the impression that they have this background and at the fingertips. Well, you can walk into a library, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to learn anything. You choose the books, however, you have to study the makings of a Weltanschauung, your own worldview, and that takes a lot of work, a lot of time. Most people can very well live without it, and unfortunately, everybody's living without it. I get to pat myself on the back. I spent a big chunk of my time and life developing one, intentionally trying to build that mansion in my mind. It turned out to be a condo, but at least I got something over my head and beneath me. You guys are in, well, ranch houses if you're lucky. 2-bedroom apartments. I live in a tiny room, which I think is symbolic of, I don't know what it is. I just like living in it. It's a small place. I like it. And coincidentally, it's what I can afford. I could have gotten a larger places for the same money, but I did not. Because I like what I like. I have what I have. Might have something to do with agoraphobia. Probably does, or some. One of my syndromes. Why bother thinking about it if you like it? like it, don't think about it. Aesthetically. Aesthetically. Anything else? No. But you can't think through the lens of your mind exclusively. You have to let the world evolve you. You have to be able to change any opinion at the drop of a hat, because if you like to learn, learning is a series of, oh, that was full of shit. Oh, that was full of shit. Oh, that's full of shit. The ultra syndrome, wants you locked into something and being defensive. Always blame the other side and don't bother looking into what's wrong with your own side. It's lacking. I literally, very literally, never hear people commenting on I love my party, but it sure needs a lot of work. I'm gonna concentrate on fixing my own party. I never hear that from anybody. Nobody will give me the facts about the other South. Oh yeah, they're very fluid and fluent and mind-numbingly acerbic. Yeah, Trump sucks. Do you know why Trump existed? MK Ultra, but he wasn't the brainchild. He's a symptom of MK Ultra. He was built by MK Ultra. He has the intellectual palate. I give Biden a little more credence, but he's pushing it. He's actually too young for my taste. Clinton could have passed as a CIA operative. Man, that guy was smart. And he took a lot from the Nixon's playbook, but so did Obama. Obama was you can tell he was a Nixon fan in all the right ways, because Nixon was not MK Ultra. I think he's the last president who, he, in a channeled way, he had a lot to do with the fraudulent methods of the alleged counterculture culture of the 60s that never really existed anyway. That was a phantom, a creation of MK Ultra, other parts of the U.S., and Life magazine. that old propaganda organ. Let's create the Summer of Love. They even came up with the name. It didn't exist. I mean, for about a minute, people dressed in fancy clothes and shared food and whatnot, and gave each other herpes and gonorrhea and scabies and lots of bugs. That happened a lot. A lot of unwanted pregnancies. Man, that's some bad baby batter there. Take a lot of acid and have kids. Oh, good work. Thank you, people. Thank you, Star Child. Fucking idiots. I would ask what you were thinking, but you weren't. You weren't. And as for the so-called revolutionaries, a lot of them were just subsumed by MK Ultra. That was all. The yippies and whatnot. Oh, dear Lord. Yes. Black Panthers, well, they were infiltrated and destroyed. Factions destroyed it, imploded it, and that was all planned. Very much planned, orchestrated. Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen, but we have to kill it. Kill it, indeed. But the Panthers, for the most part, were the assholes. Let's have sex with women so we could destroy the white race, which is stupid. There's no such thing as a white race in the first place, and why would you do that? I mean, I like when people come in all kinds of shades. It's wonderful. I don't care what color you. It's just absurd. It's pigment. In the United States, you're going to the United States, you don't especially have any African culture. It's any more than Cobra says he's Viking and or British. Well, British is just a citizen. He doesn't get the England thing right, and he's no more anything than anybody else. If you study a culture, you can absorb yourself into it. Look into the philosophy. It's got to be history. You have no history, you really have no culture. I don't care what garb you're putting on. It's all bullshit. It's MK Ultra. Oh yeah, deluxe. Pretend you're something else. Get a veneer of being exotic, but you're not. You're just go. You're on the stupidity train. You're part of evolution, de-evolution. God, if you just read some Devo, listen to some Devo, absorb it, you're going to find out that they were prophets. Idiocracy had nothing on Devo. And Idiocracy, oh boy, there's the MK Ultra because it's people who think they're smart commenting it, but you're actually part of the Idiocracy. You're in the sphere, not outside. You can't look in. You can't see with your own eye. This is idiotic. Idiocracy. Talking to my ex, and she's immune to MK Ultra. She's a little older. She remembers the hippies, but that she didn't absorb that. She's never done drugs. She didn't like them. She thinks they're stupid. She likes doing art because she wants to make pretty things, not make a statement. She learned she had kids for a long time, but she jumped back into trying to learn stuff. And I admire her. She does folk art because that's all she can do. But she does it in her own way. I can spot her stuff a mile away. And there's kind of a sad joy in it, but it makes me happy. She does, you know, pretty poor paintings, but she means them. The color's there. She knows what color is. And, yeah. She can do paintings of suns from I think it was the ABC or NBC show, Early Morning or whatever, and there's a sun. And she did that really well. She's done a million of them, and I love them. I keep wanting to get one of her paintings. She's she won't part with them. And I don't know. She will. I'll just steal some. Turn your back for a minute. I just stole some of your art. And she does stepping stones that are quite beautiful and elaborate. That was her thing. And lots of chickens. We moved into a chicken period where we, collected our chicken anything, irregalia, because we raised chickens. We love chickens. Even before I got our first chicken, we were hell bent on getting a chicken, and my house in Portland. Yeah, believe it or not, I rented a whole house. I did. I was able to do that once, and we had chicken stuff everywhere. I made a point that every point of all the rooms, you would see a chicken somewhere. Sometimes it was subtle, like, okay, where do you spot the chicken in this room? And they would, there's a chicken. Oh, son of a bitch, there's a chicken there, chicken there. Not the floor and ceiling, but on the floor, yeah, probably. Chicken. We did chicken propaganda. It was big. People thought it was absurd. Why all the fucking chickens? Like, how can you even ask that question? You cannot have too many chicken icons in your life. Because chickens are great. Chickens are splendid. I'll do a chicken essay one of these days. Probably sooner than later. Maybe tomorrow night. I'll go for a chicken thing in that MK Ultra. Because this is the last MK Ultra thing I'm going to do. It's enough. If you absorb it, don't absorb it. It's up to you. But yeah, it's what you don't. That's what owns us. Cobra is not MK Ultra. He's Teflon. Crisco Chan is MK Ultra. Oh, to the freaking hilt he is. And Daniel Larson, absolutely a creation of it. He's from the slag pool, Orb little bastard, but he's just mean. He's not evil. He's just mean. He's unsightly. He needs to be put away somewhere so we can just ignore him. And hopefully he finds God and finds some peace in his world and realizes that he has limitations, but he could help people. That he can be redeemed. Crisco Chandler, well, I'm sorry, he sold himself to the devil, and that's what he did. Once you claim to be Christ, you're toast. You're not going to hell, but you're going to spend some time in purgatory. Almost nobody goes to hell according to the Catholic faith. I don't care what you think and say; it's not true. You're wrong. You know? And for Rax, the world has ruined him. I don't believe in blame, and I don't blame him. I don't blame much of anybody. I don't believe in judgment. Just you start trolling people to prove yourself, to exalt yourself above others, you're just a troll, and you better start redeeming yourself. You know, judge yourself and practice kindness elsewhere. Otherwise, you're lost, and I'm really not that fond of talking to you. You know, there's absolutely nothing for to discuss you at that with you to that point because you're lost. At least in my plodding, stupid way, I try to make myself better. Yeah, I just got through being vile about into the fuckhead neighbor. He needs help. He's capable of redemption, but he's warping the gospel to taunt me. And well, I'm sorry, that's my button. And I need to get over that. That's my thing. I think that was my last gasp of it, just making him feel so frightened and afraid that he'll just get away from me and life will be better if we just ignore each other. Yeah, that's very biblical. You love everybody, however, some people you got to avoid because you're going to taint each other. You're going to bring up the worst in each other, and yeah, it's perfectly fine to dislike people intensely, but not hate them. Oh yeah, dislike. Don't quite blend. It's never going to get better. So, well, yeah. So MK Ultra, goodbye to MK Ultra. I've said it. I told you everything I can philosophically this time. Historically, it's easy to find. I recommend. I'll try and find the book. I have a copy of it, and I'll post the title. But it's like just a Manson book, but it's MK Ultra all over. I don't believe all the Mansonology, but I do believe the MK Ultra, and I'll recommend it to you. Absolutely, Professor. It's a quick read. It's an entertaining one. A lot of it's spurious, but a lot of it's very good. Take it with a huge grain of salt, but a big piece of grain. Thank you for listening.